Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How's it going, SoundCloud? How's it going, everybody? Early happy Thanksgiving. Today is, what's today? It's the 20th for me, but it'll be the 21st for you guys listening. So, happy November 21st. Really excited for Thanksgiving coming up. I got, I don't know if you can see it. I got candles burning in, yeah, look at that. You got a candle burning in the background. I got a sweater on. I got the heater turned up. I fucking love the fall, man. Something about just like I've lived in Oregon my whole life, and something about the fall in Oregon is just tops. Like as a kid, going out for like Halloween. As a kid, I didn't really like Thanksgiving because it's just awkward, like meeting family members that you don't really know and things like that. But like now I fucking love it. But all of that mixed and like leading up till Christmas makes fall like the best time of the year. It's like everything is kind of winding down. It's getting cold. There's a lot of like dinners, family gatherings, drinking. There's a lot of reasons to go drinking in the fall as well. So if you're a kid or an adult, the fall's great. In Oregon, it rains a lot. So in the fall, usually it's like cold weather, but it's dry, So as opposed to like wet, cold, depressing weather, it's like brisk, cold, like dead leaves, but beautiful, like best time to go on a walk weather. And the fall fashion's cool too, like jackets and fucking beanies and gloves and shit. I love it. Fall's great. So wow, that was a weird intro. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Eric Abroad Monday morning podcast. Should I call it the Monday morning podcast? I feel weird. There's one other podcast I listen to. He's a comedian, Bill Burr. And he calls his podcast the Monday Morning Podcast, so I don't want to use that word because I don't want to look like, I'm sure there's a million Monday Morning Podcasts out there, but I don't really have a cool name either. It's just the Eric Abroad Weekly Podcast. So welcome to the Eric Abroad Weekly Podcast. This is podcast number 4. There's the trumpet, number 4. Today will actually be the most unscripted podcast we've done, which I'm kind of excited for in a couple of ways, I guess. But yeah, we're just going to kind of hang out. Later today, I'm going over to a friend's house for a, not Thanksgiving, for a Friendsgiving. It's such a weird name. Friendsgiving party. So apparently there's going to be like 40 people at this guy's house. And he lives over in the West Hills of Portland, which is a beautiful area full of trees. I'm bringing a new concoction of appetizer that I think is the fucking fire. For those who don't know the word fire, maybe if you're in a foreign country, it just means it's delicious. It's essentially a thin cracker with avocado spread, salmon spread, like a salmon dip that you'd use for like chips, like a salmon dip spread. I bought the cheese company is called it's called Boar's Head. If you have Boar's Head cheese available to you, I'm not like a cheese connoisseur, but I bought it. It was because it was expensive, so it looked good. It's Chipotle Gouda cheese, and holy shit, my view of the world of cheese has completely been altered. Having this kind of shit, I basically just went in to we have a store here called Fred Meyer. That's our supermarket. I went into Fred Meyer and they have like a whole cheese section, and the guy working there, we kind of like, how do you say, like made eye contact. Like we had a little connection. I kind of looked at him and I was like, this guy, he knew what I was looking for. Like he knew that, basically I was like asking like, hey, can I sample this? Can I sample this? And he was kind of like a super chill dude. So he kind of looked at me. He's like, bro, you trying to sample all this cheese? I was like, maybe not all of it, but like whatever you recommend. He's like, dude, I will show you the fire. So he pulls out the Boar's Head Chipotle Gouda cheese, and he said, put this on a cheeseburger, dude. If you got the munchies, woo, that is the fucking fire. And he was right. So, okay, sorry, back to my appetizer. I don't have a name for it yet. It's just like it's not even that, it's really good, but it's honestly just like, it's not even that special. Anyways, it's like avocado, salmon dip spread, some of that cheese, oh fuck, I forgot the word. It's a type of meat, and I'm such a noob with this, like cured meats and shit. What is it called? Prosciutto? Is it prosciutto? Yeah, prosciutto meat, right? It's like a meat. It's like a thin deli meat, but it's like cooked, so you can just eat it. So it's prosciutto. And then on top of all that, you kind of stack it all up. You put one leaf of spinach. One, it looks cool and like kind of healthy, but also it tastes good. You put that all together and munch that. Oh, baby. That shit is so good. I made that like just the other week. It was one of those like midnight snack craving things. So I went to the store, picked up a bunch of random shit. The guy at the store helped me find the good cheese. I came home and made it, and I'm bringing that tonight to Friendsgiving. There's gonna be like 50 people, I think, and they're gonna bring like drinks and food. Because anyone tuning in that's not in America, I'm sure you've heard of Thanksgiving. If you haven't, it's basically another excuse for Americans to eat a lot of food and get, I guess, drink. But it's a really big family holiday. So, for example, my relatives outside of like my immediate family, like not my mom and dad and my brothers, but my like relatives, they all live in Washington, the state of Washington, which is just north of Oregon. For those who don't know, it's where Seattle is. So I'll be going up there for like actual Thanksgiving, and that's where we always go. Seattle's cool. I like Seattle. I don't think I could live in Seattle. I like Oregon. Oregon's just, I mean, they're essentially the same place. But lately, like, I don't know. It's just a different place. Seattle's just weird. It weirds me out, but it's fun. I'd love to go out there, to like go out like I like to go drinking and maybe see if, I think there's actually clubs in Seattle is the thing. Portland doesn't have any clubs, so that'd be like, maybe I haven't seen Seattle properly. If there's any viewers or listeners that are from Seattle and have like recommended places to go, I like Ivers. Ivers is great. I mean, it's just basic. It's like fish and chips. It's basically because Seattle's right on the water there. So, is it on the water? Am I stupid? Like, is it literally on the water, or is it like a bay? I don't even know. Wow, I'm really like exposing my lack of knowledge. Even though this is Eric abroad, he doesn't even know what Seattle, how it connects to the ocean there. But yeah, I think it's either way, it's on the water. So there's like there's a lot of seafood restaurants and things like that. And my dad grew up in Seattle, so he would always, as a kid, whenever we'd go up there, he's like, all right, we're going to Ivers. He would take me to Ivers. That was just kind of a thing we did. So it's become kind of like a tradition. Like when we go to Seattle, you go to Ivers, get fish and chips, and there's seagulls, like birds that fly outside of the restaurant. So if you have like French fries or anything like that, you can throw them up or even just hold them. And the fucking birds, they're huge. They'll come out and just and like and just they'll take it right from your hand. And I got clipped a few times actually, so it's kind of sketch, but it's fun. That's what I do. I go to Ivers. Ye Old Curiosity Shop is that's a store right next to it. It's like this weird. It's just like this weird almost museum knick-knack store. It's pretty. It smells like urine. It's not. Again, it's just one of those traditional things. What else? Pike Place Market. I'm getting way off track. I apologize. That was a long intro. I don't know what I'm really talking about, but I'm in the holiday mood. I'm excited for. I love Christmas. Christmas might be my favorite holiday. Yeah, I mean it's kind of everyone's favorite holiday, but like for me, like it's like my favorite time of the year. Like nothing beats having like traditional like Christmas music going in the background. You got the fire roaring in the fireplace. You got some hot cocoa. Or now that I'm growing up, I'm gonna start doing like spiked eggnog and shit like that. Watching a movie with a dog, right? Like that is the best time of the year. You can't beat that. And the food in around Christmas time and Thanksgiving in America is just like it's unmatched. But it's very family based. I'm saying this for anyone who might be listening outside of America. I guess as opposed to Japan. Japan obviously does. I mean, Thanksgiving's an American holiday, based around like Native Americans, basically in reality, we came to America and just frickin', we raped the land and raped, it's actually terrible. So it's funny, the holiday it's supposed to represent us like coming together and like breaking bread and like us and the Native Americans coming to like peaceful terms. Whether or not they were peaceful or not, in reality, probably not, but that's what the holiday is. It's kind of weird. But it's just an excuse. But it's funny in Japan, looking back while I was there, I mean, obviously there's no Thanksgiving. I mean, they copy like Halloween and Christmas, of course, because they're really fun. Thanksgiving, they don't do in Japan. But when I was there, a friend of mine, he was working at this bar, and he was hosting this event for foreigners, basically. It's like, hey, it's foreigner night, and it was around Thanksgiving time. So we kind of had like a fake or kind of a makeshift Thanksgiving in Japan, so it was pretty cool. It was a mix of foreigners from like America, I think like France, Japan, and like all these different people. And we got together. I didn't bring anything. Yeah. You paid to get in. It was like $20, and that got you, drinks for the whole night, and food. And I'm trying to remember, the food was like random. It was like the most Japanese way to do like an American holiday. We had like make your own sushi. What do you call that? I forgot. Temaki sushi. I think that's it. Am I wrong? Someone correct me on that. I think it's temaki sushi. It's like, it's sushi, but it's basically like, it's just like homemade almost. Like you just have a bunch of random shit. Like for example, we had like, if you know what natto is, it's like the smelly soybeans. We had that in a bowl. We had like actual like hot dog little wieners, like sausages, like in another bowl. Just a bunch of random stuff, and you can make your own like sushi from it. Like you take the rice, you put it on some like seaweed, and like it's really good. But it was like very Japanese-y, very Japanese style American Thanksgiving. So it was a lot of fun. Shit, now that I'm thinking back, there is a story with that. We were having a lot of fun. And since it was like a foreigner night, they brought out some cards and they asked us like Americans to try to teach an American like drinking card game. So those who may not know, there's a card game in America called King's Cup, which is personally, okay, if you have a great group, like a mix, it's got to be a good group mix of guys and girls. If it's like all dudes, it's weird. All girls, I guess you could do it. But it's really fun if you have a good mix of guys and girls, because there's rules that pertain to like, okay, so basically it's a card game where you just flip a card and each card has a different rule. Yeah. So like, for example, like 3 is me. So if there's like a whole stack of cards and I flip it and a 3 comes up, it's me. So I have to drink, right? If a king comes up, so there's 4 kings in a deck. Yeah. If a king comes up, there's a cup in the middle called the King's Cup. So everyone has a drink like at the start of the game. And if you get the king, you have to pour maybe not all your drink, but like a good amount of your drink into the King's Cup. And the whole idea of the game is that you draw different cards. The rules change as the game goes. It gets confusing, and there's different rules depending on like who you're playing with. That is by far the most fun game ever, in my opinion. And then the whole like aspect of the game is that the last king that gets drawn, the person who drew it has to drink the middle. So the idea is that the middle is now a mix of like 4 different drinks, or I guess 3 drinks, like a beer, a cocktail, and like if you had like a spiked eggnog, it'd be like the most disgusting drink ever. Sometimes we don't even make them drink it though, to be honest, because it's more fun just playing the fucking game. It's just it's a great game. Look up the rules for King's Cup and play it, and I recommend it. So we were having a blast playing King's Cup. We got, we all got pretty drunk, and then I feel like all my stories of Japan, by the way, I'm just gonna pause. If all my stories seem like I'm just this like drunkard who just parties, I hope that's not the case. Yeah, we drank a lot in Japan, but that's not like my only satisfaction in life, so I hope it doesn't appear that way. Anyway, but we were drinking this night. We were having a good time. I was feeling pretty good, and there was this lady there. She's Japanese, but she was like middle-aged. She was kind of older. So it was kind of interesting that she was there, but I wasn't like opposed to it because it's like an international night. So it's like, she spoke really good English. So she wanted to like, the reason she was there is because she used to live in Portland, which is where I live. So, she was like, yeah, I used to live in Portland for like 5 years. And I was like, oh, holy shit. That's really random. So we were talking about that. And while we were talking, she was kind of like slow sipping a drink, and all of a sudden, like I'm sitting there and she's in a chair. Yeah. She takes a sip. And while I'm like talking to her, like mid sentence, her eyes roll into the back of her head just like this. And she just fucking passes out. Like not like, oh, I'm like drunk and I fell asleep. Like she legit like fainted, like really scary. So she's sitting there and she just, her eyes go white and she faints. And I'm like, holy shit. Oh, somebody help. And no one noticed but me, because it was kind of loud and everyone was like having fun. So I yell at the bartender, who's my friend. I'm like, yo, dude, like, I was like, yo, dude, you need to bring some beer, not beer. Dude, bring some water. And he's like, oh yeah, dude, I got you. But he didn't really realize why I was saying that. I'm just like, dude, we need water right now. And he's like, oh, for sure. And he like kind of walks over and starts like talking to someone else. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Bring water. And like, cause she was literally falling out of her chair. So I'm like holding this woman and we start giving her water and she wakes back up, thankfully she was totally fine. But I'm just like, are you okay? Like, is that normal? She's like, oh, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've had a drink. Oh, like, that's not good. Like, that's not normal. Like, do you need a hospital? She's like, oh, no, it's fine. She's like, drank some water, had another sip of her beer. Like, oh, that was funny. So that was my Thanksgiving in Japan. That was funny. But we didn't do anything. At the family's house or anything, like with my host family or anything. But Christmas is weird. That's we'll do another podcast pertaining to Christmas as it gets closer. I'll probably mention it like a million times. Christmas is really weird in Japan. Yeah, I need to make. I'll probably make like a few podcasts / like it's. I want to make my own video just discussing. It's such a cultural like phenomenon. Yeah, cultural phenomenon. Fucking Japanese Christmas is so basically. The reason it's weird. Okay, so first thing is that I didn't know when I was in Japan. Christmas in Japan is more of like a couple's day, I guess. Yeah, it's more like a romantic day. So if you have a girlfriend around Christmas time, traditionally, you go on like a cute date. You go look at some Christmas lights or some trees. It's maybe snowing or whatever. You go home. You have fried chicken, cake, drink a lot of alcohol, and then you have sex, and that's Christmas. So, you know, it's not a bad holiday in Japan. That sounds like a pretty good night. But let's backtrack. I mentioned fried chicken. Yeah, I didn't make a mistake there. Fried chicken. So in Japan, for those who don't know, this blew my mind. And for anyone who hears it for the first time, especially Americans, it's still something I will never understand. Kentucky Fried Chicken, the fast food chain, KFC, it's like a fried food chain. Like one of the top, that and Popeyes, I think, are the two big ones in America. Popeyes is much better, by the way. And in in Japan, KFC is really good. Everything in Japan is really good. Like McDonald's, they just opened a Taco Bell in Shibuya, I think. Expensive as fuck, but the fast food in Japan tastes much, much better. Like the quality and just how they handle it. They actually like check the food before they serve it. Like it's really fucking good. So I went to KFC actually a few times just because it's really good. And it's totally different. Fried chicken in Japan. It's really I don't know enough about it to explain how it's different. It is different. So in Japan, yeah, they around Christmas time, if you ever see like a Japanese commercial right now, like just Google, like pause the podcast, go on YouTube and just type in like Japanese KFC Christmas commercial. I'm actually going to do that. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see what happens here. I don't think you guys can hear on my screen what happens, so maybe that's okay. Let's see. Japanese Christmas commercial KFC. Okay, so maybe we can watch the same video together. Okay, so the video I'm looking at, I don't know who this is. His name's Tom Barker. So Google this one. Tom Barker, Japanese KFC Christmas commercial. That's what I'm watching. Let's see. It's 30 seconds. Kentucky Christmas. Oh my god. It's literally what I'm looking at is a lady holding a bucket of KFC over her head, and there's children just rejoicing over this chicken. What are they doing? They're all wearing Santa hats. Oh my god. So, okay, I'll pause that. It still blows my mind. No matter how many times I see it, like I'll never wrap my head around it. So I think the idea and the reasoning behind it, this is my theory, is that if Japan is looking at America around Christmas time, they probably see turkey because of Thanksgiving, right? And even on Christmas, a lot of people they'll have like a big turkey or something like that. That's just like the thing in America. I don't know about you guys, but in Portland, we don't have fried chicken on Christmas. In the South, is there anyone here that lives in Texas or Georgia or anywhere down there? Do you guys have fucking fried chicken on Christmas? I guess it's not, I'm not saying it's gross. Like I love fried chicken. It's just, to me, fried chicken is kind of like a fast food, like a dirty, greasy food. Like I wouldn't have it on Christmas. It's just weird. Like, and so the fact that so I think that the Japanese image of America around Christmas kind of has turkey kind of intertwined with it because of Thanksgiving. So because of that, in Japan, if you want, you can order like a full roasted chicken, not a turkey. It's a chicken, like a full, like it's not even deep fried. It's like a full, like properly. I'm looking at a picture. It's a roasted chicken from KFC, a whole chicken. Like, but you have to order it, I think, like 1 or 2 months in advance because it sells out like crazy. Anyways, that was just, yeah, so I knew about the KFC thing before I went to Japan, so I was kind of ready for that, and it wasn't even that big. I think I actually went to KFC just because I felt, I guess it's sad, but I wasn't dating anyone at the time, so when I finally realized that Christmas was like a dating holiday, I'm like, oh, damn it, like, I kind of wish I made efforts to, like, you know, ask someone out or something just because it, like, everyone else is like, so where's your girl, like, where are you going out? I was like, fuck. So I found another friend who also didn't have a date, and we did a bromantic trip to the Japanese hot springs, and it was actually fucking great. It was fun. I love it's called onsen in Japan, the hot springs. It was snowing actually, like a little bit, and we were like outside in a freaking like boiling hot onsen. You're nude or whatever, so this doesn't help the romantic like, you know, image here, but it was like the most relaxing. We were there all day. We just did onsens and drank beer all day. Oh man, that was fun. But now when I go back to Japan, I want to do it proper. I need to have a girlfriend or a wife or something. I need that to happen. So better luck next year, I think, in Japan. Wow, we just went on a huge tangent there. I haven't even gotten into what we were going to discuss today. But again, this is the unscripted one, and I love the holiday season, man. I'm stoked. And the holiday season in Japan is also really fun. But they don't really do the presents. At least my host family didn't. They did one present each. Like they had a really small Christmas. It's just not the same as America, you know? It's just different. It's more about just like the holiday. They just like going out and wearing Santa hats and getting KFC, and going on dates and having sex after having cake and fried chicken. So it's not a bad interpretation of the holiday. It's just hilarious. It's just funny. So what I wanted to discuss today, here we're kind of talking and wow. So let's take things back. Let's steer the ship back to where we wanted to go here. I never use these sound effects. Let's see. Nope, we don't want that. We want like a, yeah, that works. Like, okay, hey, let's go back. I don't know, or a record scratch. There we go. Record scratch, changing the record. We're just going back to what we were going to talk about. So the other day I got a comment from an individual. I feel weird reading your whole name, man. Stop using your real names as your YouTube accounts, because this is weird. But I'm gonna read your account name. Sorry. This was a comment by Wesley John Dejon. So is that French? I don't know. Wesley John Dejon says, Eric, I have something to ask you. Have you experienced anything like the superstar syndrome? Basically meaning that you are treated as a celebrity because you are a foreigner. And these are his words. And since you are a good-looking American, thank you, John, in Japan, you must have gotten crazy attention of the Japanese girls. Must have gotten crazy attention of from the Japanese girls. Please tell me how you experienced this. Yes, the infamous, gaijin hunter. Gaijin, means foreigner in Japanese. It's kind of a rude term, but there's kind of a slang word that goes around. It's called a gaijin hunter. Gaijin hunter. And it's, if you said that in Japanese, I don't know if they would, gaijin hunter. Would they know what that means? 聞いてる日本人が、外人ハンターというのは、知ってるの？言うの？それ。わかんない。でもアメリカ人がそれを言って、なんか、日本人がアメリカ人のことが好きな日本人とか、外国人のことが好きな日本人。そんなこと。Sorry. It basically, yes, it's true. People ask, like, is it a real thing, the foreign hunting? Because this is kind of it can be kind of a controversial subject, so let's just throw out some, like, please don't sue me, trademarks at the beginning here. I'm not going to blanket all of Japan, obviously. Every person's different. I can't say that every Japanese girl is the same way, because that's not true. I can't say every Japanese guy is the same way, because that's not true. But there are some cultural things that are apparent and are pretty much, what, not universal, how would you say, national to the Japanese culture of the treatment of foreigners in Japan. Yes. Okay. And okay, more don't sue me stuff. I'm an American guy. So this is all from the perspective of an American guy. If you're an American girl, I can't really, I have some ideas of what things will probably be like, so I'm going to say those things. But for any other country, in my experience, this is all from my experience, basically, is all I'm saying. So, you know, your experience may vary. In my experience, the treatment of not just Americans, but foreigners, especially Americans, though, they love America, foreigners was terrific. That being said, I was studying abroad at a school where, at Kansai Gaidai, where students go there to learn another language. So, I think it's kind of expected that they probably like foreign countries and foreign cultures. Yes. So that being said, my treatment and my experience with, being a foreigner was incredible. They were the nicest people on earth to me. They, you know, you do get stereotyped for sure, but it's not a bad stereotype. So, you know, the American male stereotype is like what now? Hollywood and Justin Bieber, yeah? So whenever I would go into... Justin Bieber's Canadian, too. So that's kind of funny, actually. But he's pretty much American, I guess. What am I even saying? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so basically, like... Let's see. Actually, there's kind of a few things we could tackle here. Basically, like how to deal with it, because it can be how to enjoy it and how to deal with it. Let's discuss that today. Let's first say how to deal with it, and then I'll go to the enjoying later, because there are some times where it's kind of cumbersome. It's kind of not ideal. For example, you know, the typical, you could probably just envision this, but basically, I'd go to school, you know, I'd be getting lunch and I'd be standing somewhere and some guy kind of looks at me and goes, "Oh, you know, very cool guy, very cool man." Like they think you're really cool. I'm like, "Oh, thank you. You know, thank you very much." And they call over their friends like, "Oh, come here, come meet this guy. He's so cool, so nice guy." And you're now surrounded by like 6 dudes that are like, "Oh," and they're asking you about, that's my interpretation of a Japanese guy. "Oh," I think it's pretty close, actually. It's not that far off. They go, oh, so cool guy. Very cool. They always say they're very handsome man. Very handsome. Very, very, they say very, very handsome. Yeah, it was very funny. Yeah, but you know, it's fun the first couple times, but it gets old, man. It gets old as fuck when you just have 6 dudes ask the same question, like, "So how are American girls?" Like they love American girls. So that's another thing for you ladies out there. If you're a foreign girl, in my experience, Japanese guys fucking love foreign women, but they're usually too shy to approach you. So approach the guys. They want to talk to you. Japanese guys are pretty shy. So, well, Japanese society as a whole is generally pretty shy. But I was living in Osaka, which is not very shy in comparison, but to like other, like maybe Tokyo. Yeah, so there's that kind of, I guess if we were going to have a word of the day, it would be like, okay, we're going to have 2 words of the day, because one is like, well, I guess they could be seen as bad. But one of them's the one I think that is good, the good treatment. I'd call it the celebrity treatment, I guess. How did John DeJean, he said the superstar syndrome. I'll call it celebrity treatment. I guess in Japanese, what would you say? Celebrity atsukai? Celebrity atsukai. Atsukao is like to treat someone a certain way. So atsukai is the stem form. I'm not going to get into the grammar. Basically, celebrity treatment. I can't even try to say, that's another word of the day, celebrity in Japanese. So if you're learning Japanese, you'll know that you almost also have to relearn English words at the same time, because they pronounce them so different. And I'm going to mention this a lot. But so for example, the word celebrity, it's not celebrity, it's celebrity. You have to sound out every single vowel there. Celebrity. It's not celebrity, which kind of just flows. It's celebrity. So celebrity atsukai. There we go. We got it. I guess the second word we would use would be, how would you say? I think it's sabetsu. Sabetsu, right? Yeah, discrimination, basically. I try to look back and think of one instance. You know, there was those moments where people just, but they don't mean bad when it's like obnoxious, when they're just like, oh, you're so cool, you're from America, you like Justin Bieber, you like One Direction. Neither Justin Bieber or One Direction are from America, but that's not like, they mean well, they have good intentions. It's not a bad thing. I would encourage you not to take offense by it. Of course you can kind of ignore it, just kind of like, oh yeah, okay, thank you. But I'll be honest, I don't mind the attention. It's fun. I don't mind the attention. It's fun. But it can't, what I'm saying is there's basically like, I made Japanese friends based on, if they were those kind of guys, I kind of knew right off the bat, they don't really like, there's not much there. We're probably not going to have a friendship based out, like the only basis for our relationship is just that I'm this cool guy. Which is fine, but like there's not much there. So there'd be other friends who would maybe ask me more like deeper questions, or like, so why are you here in Japan? Like, why are you studying here? Like, what kind of things do you like? I don't know. And like, I don't know. You can tell right off the bat, I think, whether or not you're going to make like a deep friend or just someone who thinks you're cool because you're American, which isn't a bad thing. But sometimes being like, you can feel like an accessory sometimes, you know, like, which if people invited me to something, I wouldn't turn it down. I was in Japan and I wanted to experience new things. Someone says, hey, we're taking you out to this place. Even if I was just I guess I was the token. Yeah. The token American guy. Like, hey, you just come with us. Not token. That's the wrong word, but an accessory. Yeah, it feels bad. Like sometimes, and it's not, you're like, okay, it's kind of, it's hollow, it's shallow, but it's, I don't know. It's a good opportunity to meet people. So sabetsu, yeah, is discrimination. I didn't have any like technically discriminative like experiences in Japan as an American. Mostly, yeah, just being like hey, you're an American, I like America. Especially from like salarymen, like middle-aged like workers, they'd be like, oh, I love America. So good country. Like, oh, thank you. Yeah. Now when I go back, people are going to be asking me, fuck. Now when I go back, everyone's going to be like, oh, do you like Donald Trump? Oh no, that's going to suck. That's going to be, I mean, whether or not you support Trump or not, that's going to be annoying to hear that every day. Fuck. That's going to suck. Wow, we're really bouncing around here. Yeah, here, throw on the Charlie Brown. And then record scratch. All right, we just need to scratch the record and stop. Okay. Yeah, so the sabetsu, I guess. It exists. There are right-wing people in Japan, in any country, that don't want foreigners in the country, and that exists. You may face it, you may not. I didn't at all. But it exists. And like I said, basically just, it's not as much like discrimination. It's just the accessory. I guess I'll call it like the accessory. There's the celebrity treatment and the accessory treatment. There we go. That's what we'll call like this podcast. The celebrity treatment versus accessory treatment. Wow. Accessory treatment. I can't even talk. Yeah. So the accessory thing is a thing, you're basically the cool, whatever. And then there's the celebrity treatment, which I guess is almost the same thing. But I separate these only because the celebrity one is fun. And when I say celebrity treatment, I guess I mean like it's the same thing, but it's when I enjoy it. So I guess that's the only difference. So it just depends on if you enjoy it or not. A lot of people don't want the attention, but I'm just gonna tell you this right now. If you're going to Japan, and you're expecting like in America, we try to like, or at least it's kind of the movement, in America we have, African Americans, Asian Americans, Muslims, people from the Middle East, white Americans, Hispanics. We have this whole mix and we have to try to get along, and it's obviously not going very well. But they call it like, we try to like be, how do you say, colorblind basically, where you don't like, oh, I don't see you for your race, I see you for you. It's just this bullshit, it's just PC America, which is fine. But, which for some obviously, is great, because I don't think discrimination is a thing that should happen. It's just difficult to be actually colorblind. But like, for those living in America who are maybe used to not being discriminated against because it's so frowned upon in America, it might feel like discrimination at first in Japan when you first go there, because you have to understand that in Japan, I think it's like somewhere like only like less than like less than like 2% of the population of Japan is foreign. And when I say foreign, that's like Asian foreigners, like, well, maybe there's more Chinese. Maybe it's just Western foreigners. So I forget that. I should probably fact check this, but I remember reading a statistic saying that it was like less than 2% of people living in Japan are from like Western countries. Maybe that's what it was. Because I'd imagine there's a lot of Chinese and Korean that live there. I don't know, but basically it's by majority a Japanese country, and the people that live there are Japanese. They may be half Korean, half Chinese, as they're close to other Asian countries, but for the most part, it's all Japanese, which for me living in America, that's weird. Or not weird, but it's different. I'm used to, being surrounded by so many different, a big melting pot of cultures and people arguing and fighting and, having different languages. And I think it's good that America offers that, but it doesn't work all the time. As you can see, there's a lot of problems in America, and Donald Trump is stirring up a lot of things for sure too. So when you're in Japan, you automatically are like the albino. I'm trying to think of a rare animal. The albino something. Crab. I can't think of anything. Yeah, where's my joke sting? Hey, yeah, you're already, just by being foreign and being in Japan, a rarity. If you're in Japan and you're studying Japanese and you can speak a little bit, you're even more rare. And the rarest, which I hope to become one day, if you're living in Japan and you can speak fluent Japanese as if you're a Japanese citizen, you are the fucking what soundbite would do justice here? Let's see. I don't know, just the trumpet. Yeah, that's lame. I need to update this thing. These sound effects suck. Yeah, that would be what I would like to eventually become. Yeah, speak fluent Japanese. But it's the same, it's the same conversation every time I meet someone. Just the other day I live in an area, I say I live in Portland, but I'm technically living outside of it, but it's like 5 minutes away. In Beaverton, and there's a lot of wow, how can I say this? Like a big Asian community, basically. There's a lot of like Thai restaurants, Japanese restaurants, Korean restaurants, and there's just a big Asian community here. So the other day I was at the store trying to buy luggage because I'm going to be traveling soon. And the lady there was talking to me, and I couldn't tell if she was Japanese. Her English was pretty good, so like to me she didn't seem Japanese. She seemed just like not Japanese. And then I mentioned, like, yeah, I'm going to be going to Japan probably next year. And she was like, oh, I am Japanese. And then from there, we just spoke Japanese to each other. And she couldn't believe it. Like, and this is normal. If you can speak a little Japanese, this is another reason why I encourage you to try to learn a little bit before you go. If you're only going for a little trip, you're not expected to learn Japanese entirely or anything. But try to learn a little bit. Try to get a little bit. It means a lot to them, in my experience. The fact that you're not just in their country having fun, but you're trying to, invest in their culture. I think it means a lot to them. Yeah, for some reason, I always had this feeling when I was in Japan, like if I was trying to speak Japanese and it was maybe incorrect, that I'd maybe offend someone. I don't know why I ever thought that. Like, if anyone ever thinks that, I don't think you should. Because I even try to imagine myself, like, I speak English, right? And if a foreign student came to America and was like speaking really, really bad English, I wouldn't be offended. Like, are you offended by that? If you are, like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't. I'd be stoked. I'd be like, dude, good job. Like, let's, I'd be encouraging. So don't be afraid. Don't feel, I don't know, maybe, am I the only one who feels that? Like, I don't know. I honestly felt like if I was speaking Japanese that I would somehow, like, offend someone. And maybe, some of the words you say aren't, like, proper for the moment, like say like the person's older than you, the ranking system in Japan is it's a really important part of their culture. When you're talking to someone older than you want to use respectful language. So there's cases like that, but as a foreigner, they don't expect you to be able to speak like that. But I hope to become that rare unicorn. Wow, I don't want to be a unicorn. I want to be the really, really rare American foreigner living in Japan who can speak fluently someday. So maybe in like 20 years that can be achieved. So because of that, being foreign in Japan, especially if you can speak a little bit, you're automatically the rarest person in the room. You're automatically, if you're in Tokyo, you'll see a lot of other foreigners, but outside of Tokyo, like Osaka, probably Hokkaido in the north or Okinawa in the south. Okinawa does have the bases though, the army bases. So I think they're pretty used to foreigners at this point. But where I was at, man, I was almost always the only one white guy, but two, the only foreigner, like in the whole room. I'd be on the bus or on the train. I got stared at a lot. Excuse me. I got stared at a lot. So it is one thing, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, to factor in. If you're thinking about going to Japan long term, be ready to be stared at by a lot of people, especially like a lot of older men have no shame. They will just literally stare at you, and you kind of look at them and kind of give them a nod, and they don't acknowledge you back. They just kind of they just can't believe, it's you have to, I don't know if I'll ever get I got used to it, I guess, but I was always aware that it was happening. I never forgot. It was always yep, I'm on the train again. People are looking. There'll be times, and so again, in my case, if you're a American guy who's a little older, if you're on a train, you're gonna have random moments where it's groups of girls are giggling about you in the corner. You have the old man staring at you. Yeah, there's some days where it sucks. There's some days where you're just fuck, I wish I could just not get stared at. But just if you go into Japan with the mindset knowing that that's gonna happen, to an extent, it's not bad. They're not trying to be rude. It's just, it's a really rare thing. If you saw some person run down the street that was bright orange, I guess people like that exist. I'm trying to think of in America we have everything, so there's nothing we're surprised about it anymore. If some guy was just, you know what I mean? I don't know. If you just saw something you've never really seen before, or only seen on TV, I suppose, you'd be pretty surprised and you'd probably stare, right? I would. So I totally get it. And it's just, yeah, that's kind of the, I guess, more on the sabetsu end, the discrimination, where they mean well, and it's just one of those things that can't be helped. This is something in Japanese they say, shoganai, it can't be helped. Don't even shoganai. Or in Osaka Ben, we'd say shanai. So you'd say shanai. Shoganai. It can't be helped. And if you plan on going to Japan, I hope you enjoy being stared at, because it's going to happen. For me, like I mentioned, I don't mind attention. I'll admit, I was always the class clown. I like when people laugh. I like to make people laugh. I don't mind the attention. And it's just that there's the days where I'm just tired and I'm on the train and people are oh, you're from America. Tell me why you're here. And it's fuck. Because you end up having the same conversation about 20 times. Here's some great preparation you can do before Japan. Have these 5 questions answered and ready to go. Where are you from? Why did you come to Japan? Who's your favorite singer? What is your favorite place or favorite thing to do in Japan? And do you like Japanese girls? This is from a guy. You will be asked those 5 questions. Oh, there's some more actually. So of course there's, okay. Here's another one, and I'll try to keep it we're gonna try to keep this safe for work. Basically, there are stereotypes, of course, of foreign men, in relation to sexual organs, and the length of the sexual organs. You're gonna be asked by every guy in Japan, at least in a lot of my experiences, how big is it? So I never had an answer for it, because I wouldn't answer truthfully. I'd just be oh, yeah, kind of laugh it off. But you're going to get asked how big it is a lot. That I had one girl ask me, I think. Only one time was it a girl. She was really shy, and I was in a izakaya, and we were in a big group, and there was one girl kind of whispering to her friend, and I was what do you guys because I could tell they were kind of wanted to ask me something, and I was do you have a question? Shitsumo aru no? Do you have a question? Dozo. And she was kind of giggling, and she was what did she say? It was chinko wa dekai no? Is your dick huge? I was whoa! Hold on! That's a record scratch. Whoa! Yeah, so that was the only time I was asked by a girl. Again, I never answer. I don't think you should. Don't answer it. Don't answer them truthfully. Come on, that's weird. Just Just kind of laugh. Like, they're like, is it true? Be like, oh, maybe, haha, and just leave it at that. So that's number 6, I guess. So, yeah, but you'll be asked. I got asked those questions all the time. It's seriously like, oh, so how long have you been in Japan? How long have you studied Japanese? Why do you like Japan? Why do you study Japanese? Oh, do you like Japanese music? Do you like Japanese girls? How big's your dick? In that order. Oh my god. Yeah, here, wait. No, wrong one. Damn it. There, fuck, I fucked it up. But in that order, I got asked that almost all the time. Maybe I'll bay the dick one, but the yeah, you're gonna get asked those same questions all the time. So get ready to have a script so you can just tell them, oh yeah, I did this, and just because they'll ask the same questions every time. So again, I put that more on the sabetsu end, where it's like discrimination. It's not discrimination. They're really nice. They're coming up and they're like, hey, welcome. You know, they want to get to know you. But it's just that there's a lot of people that live in Japan, and if you encounter people a lot, you're gonna have that conversation a lot. So I swear, while I was in Japan, I must have had, they call it jikoshokai, basically like a self-introduction. That's more like if you're like in front of a class, but like I just call it like my jikoshokai. Like I basically introduce myself to strangers. Oh man, seriously, like 40 times, 50 times. Like, it was ridiculous. It's just so much, and it gets old, but it, if you just go to Japan knowing that will happen, and that you will face a little bit of sabetsu, a little discrimination, but it's shanai, shoganai desu. It can't be helped. You're a rare being. You're a unicorn among. There was an article I read recently where a foreign girl was complaining about being treated like a wild animal. How did they say it? Yasei dobutsu atsukai, which is like a wild animal treatment. Basically, yeah, she had she was like she went swimming with some friends, and when they were leaving, it was like a waterfall. When they were leaving, some Japanese kids like caught up to them, and without even asking permission, they were just kind of like, oh, is it okay to take a picture? Okay, ching, and like they like did pose and like just took a picture with the girl, and the girl got really upset. And to me, it's like, in my opinion, I say calm down, like relax. Like I mentioned, if you go into Japan mentally prepared for that kind of thing, you kind of just like, oh fuck, like, all right, hey, pose, and then okay, see ya. I guess it's like what a celebrity. I guess we could call this the celebrity treatment, in that, when you see a celebrity getting like fighting off paparazzi, it can be like that, where you're like, oh, thank you, like you appreciate it. And it, it feels good. Like it's people are complimenting you, and they think you're interesting, and kakkoi toka. They say like, oh, you're so cool. Like, oh, it's so cool. That's another thing in Japan. For anyone who's Japanese or like a foreigner listening, in America, like we don't admit when someone else is really cool. Like, that's weird. Like if someone was like, I mean, if someone was dressed really cool, I'd be like, dude, you're looking pretty slick today. You're looking nice. I would never say, dude, you look cool. Like, it's really strange in America to say that. And, humans are kind of always competing for like social statuses and shit in society, and trying to like one up the other person. So in America, like telling someone they're cool, that's like really, really lowering yourself. Like, oh, you're so cool. Like, I love you. Like, you're the man. It's weird. But in Japan, it's totally normal. You'd be like, kake, kakkoi. Kakkoi means cool. Kakkoi. And so you'll hear that a lot, just being a foreigner, like guys and girls be like, kakkoi, like they're so cool. So when I first heard the kakkoi, every time I would just start dying laughing, because for an American, it's really weird. It's almost like they're like almost like worshiping you, like they're kind of below you. So that was really strange, but I always, it still makes me laugh. But yeah, in the article, the girl got really upset, and she's like, why do you treat me like I'm like this wild animal? I'm a human being. But there was a quote she used. There was like someone who responded to it saying like, you are the blonde haired, because this girl had blonde hair. You're the blonde haired like superstar model within a sea of black haired Japan. Which nowadays, all my Japanese friends, they color their hair, so it's not black. It always has it's always brown. So if you have naturally brown hair, you're cool there too. Kakkoi! You're fucking cool right off the bat because you have brown hair. Yeah. So that's. I hope this isn't like a. I don't want to like make it. Basically, all I'm saying is that I don't mind it overall. And and again, at the end of the day, sometimes the attention's fun, and I'll have people like, hey, can we take a picture with you? Literally, they'll come up and just be like, like I said, it's celebrity treatment. It's like you're a celebrity. Like if I saw Adam Sandler, wow, that's not a great celebrity, but if I saw Adam Sandler, I get a picture with him. Yeah, you can beef on him all you want. It's Adam Sandler, guy's so famous. If you saw Adam Sandler on the street, you'd get a picture with him. Yeah, I would. And if you see a foreigner, in Japan, it's that rare that it's like oh my God, this is my one chance. I'm going to go get a picture. So just be ready for that. Some days it sucks, but you can avoid it a lot of the times. You just kind of like keep to yourself, keep quiet, just move along, do your own thing. Usually you'll be fine. Be with your friends. Yeah. But the celebrity atsukai is like, people ask me, does it exist? I guess going back to gaijin hunters, basically Japanese girls who will fuck any foreign guy. Yes, I had, sorry, I don't want to phrase it like that. Yes, I did meet girls that were like that. Like I saw their personalities and kind of tell that they were just really into foreigners, which isn't a bad thing. It's just we labeled them as gaijin hunters. And you again, I can't blanket every girl because that's unfair. But some of my friends had some experiences. I had some experiences with gaijin hunters. Be careful is all I'm gonna say. Just tread lightly. I would try as a guy. If you get into like a relationship with a girl and she might be a gaijin hunter and you're kind of thinking it, just don't let it get to your head that it's like, oh my God, I found the one. Because if she's a gaijin hunter, she likely will be interested in the next gaijin that is willing to hang out with her if you start getting boring. Again, I can't blanket all girls, but this is just in some cases, they can tend to be a little crazy. I'm sure this goes on the guys' end as well. There's guys that really love foreign girls and are probably crazy, but I can't speak on their end because I'm just gonna speak from myself toward gaijin hunter girls. But yeah, they exist for sure. So just be aware of it. Come on, man. Don't like take advantage of that or anything. Is my advice. Do what you want to do. Hang out with who you want to hang out. By all means. If you want to sleep with a gaijin hunter, go ahead. I would just say tread lightly and be careful because it's just kind of an unhealthy approach to the relationship. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I like you because you're cool. Let's hang out. You have sex. You start dating. You blah blah blah. But if there's nothing there, I mean, that's true, Nate, like universally for any relationship. If you like someone for their money or you like someone for whatever, if there's nothing there that you can that makes the relationship worth it on the days that you're just that you're just fighting, you're sleeping on the couch as the guy, whatever. If there's nothing there, that's when you just you just break up. If there's something there and it's a real relationship, you fight through it, yeah, because you think about that shit. So just tread lightly is all I'm saying. You may have hit the Garden of Eden, you may have found the one, congratulations, but I would encourage you to look subjectively at your new relationship in Japan because they can be a little unhealthy. Just in some instances with friends and some of my encounters, that definitely exists, and they can be a little crazy. So, but yes, to wrap this all up, basically going to Japan as a foreigner, you will be treated a little differently. Hopefully not in a bad way. But at least at first, that's how the conversation will start. Oh, you're a foreigner. That's really cool. Can we hang out sometime? And then hopefully through that, you can build a relationship to where you're past the point and they kind of they'll always, you're the foreigner, but they don't see you or love you only for being a foreigner. That's a part of it. It's not a bad thing to love someone for being foreign. I have a lot of Japanese friends that I love. I loved hanging out with them and learning about their culture. And yeah, if they weren't Japanese, if they were American, we wouldn't have hung out. So it's not a bad thing. It's just, if something grows through that, like a good relationship, then that's where it's awesome. Because then it's just international relationships. It's a beautiful thing. It's great. Yeah. I guess I'm winded. That's it. That's all I have for today. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. I'm getting ready for a little Thanksgiving event, so I'm gonna head out. I'm making those little crackers. We need to name them. And I'm going to post if you check out my Instagram, actually, I posted a photo of it a few weeks ago with some strawberries, and some wine. Oh, so good. So I'm gonna go buy the ingredients for those, and then go to their house, and we're gonna make them a little early before the party starts. So I'm gonna get ready for that. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, this is the Eric Abroad Weekly Podcast, where we kind of just ramble on Japanese culture and things. It's not that structured, so for those who are listening, thank you for sticking around. I applaud you actually for sticking around because it's pretty long. I realize it's an hour, but hopefully you're driving, doing laundry or something boring, and this is just occupying the back of your head, and I'm putting my my thoughts into your subconscious, and I don't know what I'm saying. Thank you guys for listening so much. If you liked the video, or if you're listening on SoundCloud, please like, follow, subscribe, share, hashtag, whatever you can do. And please, please, please leave a comment if you have a question or a suggestion on something to talk about on the podcast, because I need new ideas. I only have so much that I've experienced, but if you have like an example of like something you experienced in Japan, like what do you think about that, Eric? I got treated like this. Can you talk about that? Let me know in the comments, for real, please. Because I would love to discuss that. And I will be discussing this topic specifically, the celebrity扱い, again a few times, probably many times. But for New Year's, I'm going to be visiting a friend of mine, Anthony. If you have seen in my video where I went to the Owl Cafe, he lives in Boston. I'm going to meet him there. We're going to hang out for a few days. We're going to do a podcast. It's going to be cool. And then we're going to go to New York. So I'm going to be in New York for about a week. A few days I'll be alone, so hopefully we can do a little video podcasting. I'll be walking around. I've never been to New York, and I'm super excited. It's gonna be so fun. Anyway, so when I do that, we're gonna do an interview with Anthony because he's a stud, and obviously he got the same celebrity treatment experience. He's definitely experienced it as well. So we're gonna pick his brain, see what he thought of it, and if he enjoyed it or not, and it's kind of his experiences. So. Look forward to that. That'll be in probably a month from now. So thank you all for listening. I guess we'll see you guys next week. I don't know what topic we're going to do yet. It'll either be an interview, which I still want to set up, maybe a Skype thing. I don't know. We're figuring this out. Also, I want to start doing live podcasts. So if anyone has any like advice on how to set up like a live YouTube podcast where you guys can be in the comments chatting. I've done Twitch TV casting in the past with like video games and stuff. Like a little bit, so I know what it is and like what programs to use for that, but I've never done it through YouTube. So if you guys have any advice or any suggestions or have experience with it, like for real, let me know, because I have no idea how it works. So I think that'd be a fun thing to do from now on. Like if there's a day where I don't have a topic, like I don't know what we're gonna talk about, let's do it live, and then we just go live and I can hang out and chat with you guys. That'd be really fun. So let me know. This is a really long outro, so I'm gonna wrap this up, but yeah, really excited for the future of the channel. I want to try a lot of new things, but just trying to keep my head above water here for the time being. We will get back to travel videos. We're going to start doing live videos, interviews, hopefully, and I'm really excited for that. So thank you all. Please tune in next week, as we'll post another video next Monday as well. What we're going to talk about is yet to be determined, but leave me comments, and maybe I'll read them on the podcast. Thank you all for listening, and please check it out next week. I'll see you next time. Have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving. And yes, drive safe and all that jazz. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Mata.